Hey guys, Laura here. I'm here to do my top 10 Tuesday, and I think this was supposed to be last week's top 10 Tuesday, but I'm going to do it this week. But it is the top 10 books that you've read so far this year, and I've actually had a pretty incredible reading year. I'm going to own that up to the fact that I got to go to New York City Comic Con last year. I also went to BEA, and I also really pretty much had like a dead semester because I graduated in December, and job hunting doesn't really start until now. So I'm really hopeful I will find a job by September. That's the goal. But to be honest with you, I'm just kind of enjoying my free time to kind of prep for the fall, but also get a lot of reading done. So these are the top 11 books that I wound up reading that I really wound up enjoying. I doubt that all of these will make it into the end of my year wrap up because I've already read close to 100 books, which is just insane. I've never read that much in a year, but I really enjoyed all of these, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Some of these don't get nearly enough love, which is why I'm telling you about them. These are in no particular order. They're just in a stack that I have right here, so let's get into it. The first book that I really enjoyed this year was Obsidian, which was the final book in the Illuminati Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I just love this book. I really loved it. I thought it was such a solid conclusion, and I was really hooked from page one. I thought that they not only really respected the characters in the previous two books, but also they gave the new characters a time to shine, and I loved it. I cannot wait to see what they're working on next because I'm so here for it, but I love this book. I did a non-spoiler review on my blog, but yeah, this is me chatting about it in a little bit more detail, but I loved it. If you have been hesitating picking up this series, I know that people say that the format is a little bit hard to read. That was never my intention. I highly recommend the audiobook from Audible because their cast recordings are phenomenal as well. But the next book that I'm going to chat about is Magnus Chase, The Ship of the Dead. I read this recently. This is the third book in his Magnus Chase, The Gods of Asgard series. I just love this book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I think that the diversity that was represented in this whole series, but it definitely, the last book just blew my mind. It was spectacular. I love Magnus as a lead character. I love the Norse world as well. And it was just such a fun read. This book just made me cry happy tears as well. I just thought the ending was so well done and so well crafted. But the diversity is definitely the standout in this book. If you haven't checked out the series, now's a great time to binge them. And also there is a tie-up of stories coming out in October that I recently got a copy of that I can't wait to read. And I like to read them in publication order, so now I can finally read The Burning Maze, which I heard has an epic... Something happens in it, I don't know what it is, but I cannot wait to dive in. But I really did love this book. I thought it was so well done. The diversity, everything was just so well crafted. Rick Riordan really knows how to create a balance between adventure and and learning, and I just think he does a spectacular job. Cannot wait to see what series or what world he goes to next, and I also cannot wait to keep reading his books because they're just really fun. Another recent read for me, and it is Save the Date by Morgan Matson. I did talk about this in my June wrap-up, so go see my full thoughts there. But I really love this book. It is the fourth book that Morgan Matson has put out, and they all kind of have cameos of her other books, so if you read them in publication order, you get all the inside jokes. But this basically follows Charlie. She comes from a huge family. There's a lot of changes afoot in her life, but it is the weekend of her older sister's wedding, and a lot of hilarity and hijinks ensue. She's on the precipice of a lot of change in her life, and this weekend kind of makes everything bubble to the surface. But when the wedding planner kind of leaves her sister's wedding in shambles, Charlie has to come to the rescue with the help of a very cute wedding planner, and they have a bunch of hijinks. This book was so fast-paced, so much fun to read. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. This was not my favorite Morgan Matson book, but I definitely enjoyed it and found it to be the perfect summer read. And I'm actually in the middle of re-listening to some of her older ones, but this one was just so much fun, and that's why I had to include it on this list. If you're looking for kind of a fun contemporary, definitely that addresses more harder issues, in it, underlying, I would definitely recommend this book as well. Next book is another book that I've read ridiculously fast, and that's Not If I Save You First by Ellie Carter. This part, for what I know, is a standalone. I would love it if it goes into a series, but it basically follows this girl named Maddie, and her father was the former security director of the President of the United States. Her best friend was the president's son, which is like basically the premise. But something happens that sends Maddie and her father to move to the Alaskan wilderness, which is like kind of like in the middle of nowhere, obviously. But when Logan turns up one night with kind of like a bunch of mysteries, like what is happening, she has to battle not only the elements when they go missing, but also her friend. And it's just a really, really good, harrowing, like, they're basically trapped in the Alaskan wilderness and they're trying to stop Logan from being taken. But it's just a really, really good story. I flew through this. I think it's like just under 300 pages, but I just found it so compelling. I love books about presidents' kids. I think when I was younger, one of my favorite movies was First Kid. But I just thought it was like a great blend of thriller, best friends to more romance, and I just really, really liked it. I thought it was just such a good story, and the Alaskan wilderness is not a location you see a lot of books set in, but I thought that Allie Carter had a really, really good balance, and I really can't wait to see what she writes next. But I definitely love these two characters, and also this book starts off with, let's see if I can find it. Every chapter starts off with Maddie writing Logan letters, so that's kind of another way to frame this story, but it was just so fun. I really loved it. Definitely one of my highlight reads of the year, and if you've read everything by Allie Carter, you definitely have to check this one out. It's definitely on par with the High Society series for me, which I really, really loved, and I'm still making my way through the Gallagher Girls, but definitely a really, really fun read. Book was another one that I picked up at New York City Comic Con. Loved it so much I had to go buy the hardback, and that is Ashe Princess by Laura Sebastian. I was actually able to meet her during the week of BEA. I love this book. This book was just so amazing. I loved it. I know that there's been a lot of mixed reviews about it, but I actually loved it. This cover is so pretty as well, but it basically follows this girl named Theodosia, and when she was 6, her country was invaded, and she was the princess, but then she was kind of held basically captive by the new queens, and it's just like she doesn't have any powers, so she has to use a lot of cunning to get what she wants, which I really, really liked. I thought it was a really, really fun, it was like a fast-paced adventure. It had elements of like a little bit of like Anastasia, like, you know, the lost princess, her best friend came back and stuff like that, so I just like that, but I just thought the world was fascinating. And, you know, everything was just, the world was just through me. I just love the world. I thought the characters were great. I'm really excited to see what happens in Lady Smoke next, which I think comes out next year. But it was just super fun, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I was really happy to read it, and then give you guys my thoughts. But I just really, really liked it. This book is not getting nearly enough love. I think that there's definitely a lot of, like, similar tropes in it, but I've never read a heroine like this character before, and that's why I really liked it. So that is my thoughts about Ashe Princess. One of the first contemporaries I read in the year, and that's Foolish Heart by Emma Mills. This was an Alacrate book for December, and it's what saves the day. And it basically follows this girl named Claudia, and when she is working on a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, she winds up overhearing about a breakup between the power couple of the school, which is 2 girls, and that kind of leads her into like kind of like an unexpected friendship. There's a lot of friendship dynamics in here. There is a romance. There's theater. Oh my god, I just loved it. This is definitely my favorite Emma Mills book so far. I know she's coming out with another one next year, and I still haven't read First and Then. Hopefully I'm going to get it from my library this summer. But I really love this book. I thought it was I think this book is just over 300 pages. I sped read this in a day when I was really not feeling well, and it just made me happy. I love the focus on friendship in this book is something that Emma Mills does so well. The romance is always like a nice undercurrent, but these books definitely focus on friendship, and I really, really enjoy it, and that's why it went on my keep shelf. So if you're having a hard day this summer and need a pick-me-up, I highly recommend Foolish Hearts. This book gets no love at all. So if you don't want to hear my thoughts about this book, just fast forward like 3 minutes. I really like Zenith. I feel like I'm the only person in the world that really enjoyed Zenith. Everyone I have heard has given it such negative reviews. I really liked it. I thought that it was a great science fiction story. I love the focus on the female captains. I just really liked it. I thought that Lindsay and Sasha did a really good job. I was captivated. I thought that it had a lot of interesting twists and turns, and there really was nothing bad about it. It was definitely not like, I know sometimes when every time I get lost in the details. In this book, I did not get lost in the details. And I think that maybe sometimes it might be simplistic writing, but that doesn't mean it's bad. And I really, really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to read I think it's the final book in the series, but I really liked it. I was really impressed by it, and it just was a good book. So that's my thoughts about it. Again, I always tell everybody, don't take my opinion, read the book yourself. If you're really hesitant, get it from the library. But overall, I really like this book, and I will definitely be checking out the sequel when it comes out next year. Guys, Whiplash, this is the book that I've heard nothing but good things about, and I definitely agree. And that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I love this book. I thought this book was so well crafted. It's basically, I pitch it as Game of Thrones with fairies, and it's really, really accurate. I loved it. Definitely, I'm about to begin a reread of this, but with a re-listen because my lovely friend Jen got me an arc of Wicked King. So I'm really excited to read that, and then, so I have to reread this and then read that. But I'm really excited. It was so well done. I'm actually excited to actually take my time and listen to it and not be in such a rush. But yeah, this cover is so pretty as well. So I'm definitely excited to finally re-listen to this and then read Wicked King and give you guys my thoughts on that. The next are all books that I don't have physical copies of right now, but I really enjoyed them as well. The next book is a book that I kidnapped from my friend Sarah, and as far as I know, she hasn't read it either, but it is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christie. When I went to New York City Comic Con, it was a choice between Daughter of a Siren Queen and To Kill a Kingdom, and I had read Daughter of a Pirate King, so I kind of wanted the sequel, but I was definitely upset that I did not get this book. So when my friend went to Yellowfest, she wound up getting a copy, and I wound up reading it. I love this book. I thought it was so well done. It's basically a Little Mermaid retelling where Ariel has to kill Eric and Eric has to kill Ariel, and it was really, really well done. I love the mermaid world. I love the siren world. I love the two lead characters. I thought the ending was like a little bit rushed at points, but overall I really loved it. Definitely will be checking out more by Alexandra Christie, and I will probably wind up getting this book for my collection eventually. But overall, I really loved it. If you have not checked out To Kill a Kingdom, the summer is the perfect time to read it. I recommend you go to the beach, put up your feet, and dive into To Kill a Kingdom, because I think you'll really enjoy it. The book was a book that I got from Entangled Teen, and it's called Spies, Lies, and Allies. Surprising read. I read it because I got asked to review it, and I just expected it to be just a fun read, but it made me cry. It was so well done. It's basically about this girl. I cannot remember her name right now, but her dad runs a company, and she always says that she doesn't get to spend any time with him, so they have this big, like, summer internship thing, and she winds up convincing her dad to let her basically participate in this internship, but basically be his eyes and ears because they're picking a scholarship winner. And it was a really, really good book. I thought that it dealt with a lot of harder issues. There was also a really, really fun romance for a bunch of different characters in it, and it was just really, really fun. Kind of had similar vibes to, like, the Bold type. If you like that, I really liked it. It made me laugh, it made me cry, and I just really liked it. I definitely want to check out more by this author in the future, but for right now, it was definitely a really, really fun read. If you're looking for kind of another, like, internship or job-related book, this would be a perfect read for the summer, so I highly recommend that you also check it out. The last book I'm going to include in this, and the reason I don't physically have my arc is because I'm sent it to someone so that I can get another arc, and that is Wildcard by Mary Lou. I love this book so much, and I'm getting a signed copy from Good Choice Reading, where they're doing a signing. So if you want a signed copy of this book and Warcross, be sure to go to Good Choice Reading because they have amazing signings. Spoil you guys about this because I feel like this book really needs to be read. So if you guys want my non-spoiler thoughts as I'm reading and my review, go check it out in my reading blog. The picture is literally me reading Wildcard. But I love this book. I thought it was such a good conclusion to the series. I felt like it expanded the world. I thought the mystery was so complicated and I really enjoyed it. So go read it. It comes out in September, and I'm going to do a non-spoiler discussion for this series. I have my 2 books coming to me in the mail in September, and they will be a permanent thing in my collection. Cannot wait to see what Mary Lou writes next, but the series was definitely an A+ in my opinion. Guys, these were the top 11 books that I've read so far this year. I know this list will definitely change when December rolls around, but I wanted to give you guys the highlights mid-year. And definitely check out my mid-year freakout tag, which I will be filming directly after this video. But I hope you guys are having a great day. Tell me in the comments what is your top book that you've read so far this year, and we can chat about it in the comments. And if you've read any of the books, if you read any of these books, tell me your thoughts in the comments as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.